Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. And this is the Ramsey Show After Show coming to you a bit early, as the show does sometimes, where they must edit things out. Yeah, that's good on the vinyl. Alright, or they maybe edit a minute or so out of it or something like that. It just seems sometimes that it ends early, but most times it ends at 11:07 a.m. And so that's the time I say I'm going to start. But every so often it will end early without any preamble. Oh, just heard a bird. You probably can't hear that because the same thing that the same filter, that noise suppression that cuts out my fan that's blowing right next to me, which theoretically you should be able to hear, but you can't. But a bird was going like that, and is still doing it. So that's all we've got from here. No, we have more from here, of course. I am Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And for my financial content, you're watching me now on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And on that main page, you just scroll down past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists. And you'll see the After Show playlist. Today is number 563 of those. And answering your financial questions, that's the 8 p.m. stream. And I do those on the days that I'm not able to do an after show. Very rarely will I do an after show and an 8 p.m. Eastern time stream on the same day. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including he's got 2 PhDs, 2 more than me. Plus, he's got some other certs. John Deloney. That was one of the first Ramsey adjacent songs that I wrote. And of course, now it's time for. I did not do an after show Monday. Apologies for that. I got, I think, 4 hours of sleep that night, so I decided to sleep in a little bit longer and not watch the Ramsey show on Monday or do the after show. But there is going to be one. There's one today, and there's going to be one on Thursday and one on July 4th, assuming it will be a replay of the Ramsey show. But I will be live again, 11:07 a.m. How about we do a market report? Okay, so you see, what is it that the Dow has dropped? 112 on losses for shares of United Health Travelers. Oh, okay, great. And when I talked last week about it was last week, wasn't it? Or a few days ago? Yeah, because I didn't do the after show, but on the, I don't even remember what, all the days go together now, but I did talk at some point about the market being back at a new high, and but that applies for the NASDAQ and S&P 500 only. Dow is not quite recovered yet, and they went down again today. And so you see, let's see, when were they at that high? And I can't see it around my November 29th. I guess I can make it 5 years and make it easier on myself. There we go. So November 25, but it's right there, but of course down 0.15% today, while the other indices are up Led of course by the NASDAQ. S&P people leaving only S&P. If you only have S&P 500 mutual fund, index fund, you're losing out by not having any NASDAQ. So leaving money on the table. And of course the Russell Small Cap Index 0.65%. Let's go back there. Oh, also S&P 500 rises after Trump announced it. Let's see what he announced. POTUS do be talking sometimes. Announces Vietnam trade deal gains. Yeah, okay. And again, we knew that there would be negotiations on this stuff. We didn't just think it would be, oh, well, it's going to be this amount and you have to pay this amount, other countries. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be the best money you ever paid for anything in the history of paying for things and money. You know how POTUS is. So yeah. So of course there's negotiations on it. And hey, guess what? If you sold when the tariff thing started, you're dumb. Just like, let's use the SP 500 and we go back 5 years. Where is that pandy? Is that it right there? Yeah, there's your pandy. No, that's not. That's the tariff crash right there. Oh yeah, we don't even have that on the 5-year anymore. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that from last time. Okay, there's the pandy crash. You can see it right there. And if you sold when it went down, if you cashed out, you're dumb as crap. And if you didn't keep buying as it went down, because guess what? It was on sale because back 6 or so months later, it was already back to a new high. And then it went on to further new highs. And then I guess tariff crash is right there, and in the maximum, going all the way back to, let's see, that's 10 years on that, so that might be to 1995 right there, is it? Oh yeah, I guess I could just check that. 1996. Okay, so it goes from 1996 to present day, and I mean, to me, that looks like a high as to where it is now. And so if that includes, I don't know, maybe it was higher yesterday. I do not know. I didn't look at it yesterday, so I don't know what it did yesterday. Oh, that's the S&P 500, not the Dow. Okay, so I was confused. So yes, S&P 500 and NASDAQ continue to set new records daily. Alrighty, what else do we do on this show? We look at the rest of the planet, mostly up in Europe, mostly down in Asia. Let's see about that US dollar. Got a call on the Ramsey show today. Young lady asking about, because she heard about the government be like crypto is going to replace the US dollar, dumb. But don't get from wherever you heard that from, don't get your news from there. And better yet, just turn off the news, because there's nothing there that you need to know. I assure you. Let's see, what were we doing? Oh yeah, we were doing so US dollar up against the euro, up against the yen, up against the British pound, love. Greetings from the colonies, guys. Down though to the Canadian dollar, I'm sure they're not sorry about that. They actually might be. And of course, up over the Australian dollar. So only for some reason Canada currency higher. So let's not bury the dollar yet. And yes, the Roman Empire did fall at some point, and likely so will the United States at some point, but I don't think we're near to that. Let's see. We got JP Morgan Chase reporting on the 15th, and it being only the 2nd. That's 13 days away. Let's see. We got all the except for Meta, the artist formerly known as Facebook, and they are down, but they're the only one of the top followed 6 stocks. On the Google and the Magnificent 7 would have the inclusion of NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is up 2.34%. So all good. And of course, all of these would be in your large cap fund. And of course, the NASDAQ, where is it? Where'd I go? NASDAQ, that's where all your tech stocks are. Guess what? People love tech. It's not going away. Not going away. And so again, if you, and let's just check it for fun. Why not? 5 years, almost 100%. For the NASDAQ, S&P, 5 years. Oh, closer. Because the NASDAQ has dropped some, and so now it's pretty close, but that's still more for the NASDAQ, and it was significantly more. It was like something, I think something like 80, 82 before, to over a little bit over 100. But of course, tariffs, the tariff crash, little mini crash, I guess, that I guess made it a lot closer for the last 5 years. But also NASDAQ has beaten the S&P 500 17 out of the last 20 years. So that again is why you should not just be I only invest in the S&P 500 person, because you're leaving money on the table. All right, let's see. Sit at her appointment. Best of luck to her with that. Was there anything else? I guess I could check the. Let's just check the headlines. Tesla reports 14% decline in vehicle deliveries, marking second straight year-over-year drop. Right. Stock market today, Dow, S&P 500 slip after surprise ADP jobs reading, and the Dow did, but it had gone up. You see, it's been blue. It's been crazy. But currently close to even, as you can see there, only 0.069% down. NASDAQ started down as well too, but you can see how that shot up there after that jobs report. So great. And that's my expert analysis of the situation. So great. Microsoft laying off about 9,000 employees, latest round of cuts. I mean, that's going to happen even for your biggest companies. And, you know, you say, well, maybe they shouldn't have been hired in the first place. Maybe they overhired. And that does happen with huge companies. Trump's finances were shaky. Then he began to capitalize on this, on his comeback. Okay, well, why wouldn't you? Unless it's something that's illegal, why wouldn't you? Rush hour chaos as New York City's Port Authority bus terminal closes after buses crash at transit hub. At least a dozen injured. That's not fun. Mortgage refinance demand surges as interest rates drop further. I think I have that article. Wyoming rare earth mining facility will be the first to open in over 70 years. Shout out to Wyoming. Yahoo Finance, millions of seniors will see smaller Social Security checks starting this month. And sustainability times, okay. Dead batteries reborn. New friction tech recovers lithium power without waste or toxic byproducts and breakthrough process. Well, that sounds great. Cool, cool, cool. Science, am I right? Let's answer some. No. We got some articles here. The first one is from a few days ago. When is that? June 30th. Oh, happy July, by the way. It's July 2nd. How Raising Cane's overtook KFC to become the #3 chicken chain in the U.S. And I believe that's also with fewer locations, I believe. But let's see. And CNBC is awesome. This is not the actual article. It's just a screenshot. Because I saw it and knew I wanted to talk about it, so I screenshotted it. But CNBC is excellent because they do the key points section, so you don't even have to read the article. Raising Cane's now third largest chicken chain in the U.S. by sales, trailing only Chick-fil-A and Popeyes. The privately held company has leapfrogged KFC by keeping its menu simple and operating its own restaurants. Raising Cane's now has more than 900 restaurants and saw system sales of $5.1 billion last year. So awesome. It's great. I haven't had that in a while. I might have that this weekend. Might get some canes and celebrate with them on that. And yeah, here's the mortgage refinance. This is the actual article. Again, CNBC, the real estate section. Mortgage refinance demand surges as interest rates drop further. Key points: the average contract interest rate for 30-year fixed mortgages, which of course we don't recommend. It should be a 15. If you have to make it a 30-year mortgage to be able to afford the payment, then you're buying too much house. So that's a NAR from Mr. Ramsey. 15-year mortgages only, and the payment should be about 25% of your take-home pay. If you go over that, you buying too much house, and you're gonna make steps 4, 5, and 6 take a lot longer. Let's see, with conforming loan balances fell to 6.79% from 6.88%. Oh, the average contract interest rate. Okay, so the interest rate on them went down a little bit. Just a little bit. Applications to refinance a home loan rose 7% last week compared with the previous week. Applications for mortgage to purchase a home increased 0.1%, okay, for the week. Alrighty. And 6.88, still high, but yeah, that's why I'm wondering what, for you to jump on the, I mean, if it's a couple of points, like a percentage points, like not even a whole 1%, it may not be worth it to refinance, because guess what? You got to pay closing costs. There's a fee to do that, and so you gotta look at the break-even mark, where the amount of the fee is covered by the savings from not paying as much interest. And so in this case, you're going, if you're average and you went down to 6.79 and it was 6.88, that would be, what is that, 0.08%. And so for 0.08%, I'm not doing that, because that's like, you see what I'm saying here. So if it's like if it's 0.9%, okay, that's almost 1%. But the 0.08% means that's like 100th less And so it's a lot less. So it's like barely moving that difference here. So not worth the refinance fee slash closing costs, whatever you want to call them. All right, let's answer some questions. How about that? Thanks everybody that's watching now and watching later, and especially if you're watching now and will watch it again later, then I'm in love with you. How about that? Unless you're a troll. Then I still appreciate the watching, because you could be watching anybody. So I still appreciate it. But you're still a troll. Prize Banana 3323 side hustle suggestions. Hi guys, I'm seeking some help in figuring out side hustles. I'm sick of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm starting to apply for restaurant jobs. Great. Bussing tables in the evening and weekends. Looking for ideas on how to earn extra money that I can do on my own without having to go through a hiring process. Thanks in advance. Well, that's going to be stuff like your Uber, DoorDash, things like that you can do. If you have any skills, you can market them. There's apps that let people hire you on a job by job basis. You could do that. But guess what? At the restaurants, there's going to be a hiring process, okay? And also for what I did, there was a hiring process. And that second job was working at Menards, which is a Midwest big hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot. Think about that, and that's basically the job. And so that I worked for 5 years. I worked there even longer than it took for me to save my full emergency fund. It was like part-time. It was like 4 or 5 hours a day. Maybe an 8-hour shift on the weekends occasionally when the computer shop was closed. But basically I would work there 4 hours and then work I think 9 hours at the computer store. But it was great because I did all the physical activity at the hardware store. I was a stocker, and so a lot of heavy stuff. They have all your big huge furniture, your big lazy boy chairs and such, and so a lot of heavy things. So, and all those muscles are gone that I built up from that, because that's been a while though. So but I continued working there just because it was good money and it was good for me as well, physically. So, and I like money, so that's why I kept working there for longer than than it took for me to build the emergency fund. But that was the reason that I did it. And for some reason it didn't, there was a woman involved, of course. For some reason it didn't occur to me that I could make things move faster by getting a second job. And of course, woman involved, but obviously not her fault. My fault. And then I thought, and then clarity after that wasn't a thing anymore. And I was like, oh, hey, I can spend some time, instead of just watching stuff, playing video games, I can spend less time doing that, and I can work for 4 hours before I go to the computer store. How about that? So, yeah. Speaking of, resident can need motivation to make money. Well, what do you need the money for? Let's see, I've been working in digital advertising for over a decade. I don't know that is necessarily fun. I've had a bit of a roller coaster journey in my career. In 2021 to 22, I was making $110,000 at one of the FANG companies, and things were looking up. Well, we're moving on up to the east side. After 1.5 years of working there, I was laid off. That happened. Stuff happens. And took the first thing that came my way. Okay, that's great. Doesn't mean you have to stay with that one. You can keep looking. This was a contract role at a good company, and I was making 120K. Great. I knew this contract role would end, as it was a backfill for a maternity leave, I guess. But I didn't seriously look for other work, as I tried a few times, and they didn't get anything worthwhile. Well, that was dumb of you. That contract ended last year. Yeah, so you shouldn't have. You should have seriously looked for other work since you knew there was an end date to the contract. Not doing so was incredibly stupid. I had trouble finding work after this, and that's why you were incredibly stupid for not continuing to look as you worked out that contract. As job market is also really bad at the moment. I found something after I was unemployed. I mean, the motivation to make more money, you weren't motivated to make sure you still had a job at all. So you may have more issues than that. Where are we? Finding work after this as the job. I found something after I was employed for 7 months, but making 65K. That's better than nothing. I'm not lost in my career. I'm a bit lost in my career at the moment. I don't have the motivation to look for higher paying work. I feel a loss of confidence in my skills. All that's just in your mind. I mean, I'm assuming since you get hired over and over again, I'm assuming that you do have the skills for it, and you're letting the fact that I don't have my perfect job it didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it to work out, that is in your head, and then suddenly equaling you don't know how to do that job when actually you do. That's what I'm guessing. Or you could have just been faking it, and maybe that is the case. So, but I'm thinking it's just it not working out for you has moved your cheese, and you don't like it, and so now you're whining with yourself, basically. Man, I don't have the skill. Where are we? I don't have the motivation to look for a higher paying work. I feel lost confidence in my skills. I'm comfortable with the safety of this job, even though it's a very junior role. And I'm doing work that I had done years ago and worked my way up from. I also know it's not enough to support my family. Okay, well, why wouldn't that motivate you to make more money? To look for another job where you make more money? And do things that isn't in a junior role, and do things that you are obviously qualified for. So again, that's dumb. I don't know what's going on in your head. Like I said, just because it doesn't work out for you doesn't mean you get to have a pity party for yourself. So here's your answer right there. Support my family. That seems like a darn good reason, probably the best reason to make more money, right? Also feel like, for me, all of the strategic moves in my career have led to nothing. See, you got to forget all that dumb crap. See, you're so focused on the past and that it didn't go exactly like you wanted it to go, and you think you're back at square one. No, you're not. You do have a job in that field, at least. So you're not. You're dramatized. You're drama. You're big drama happening in this person's mind. Should I seek career counseling? Maybe you don't need career counseling. Maybe you need other kind of counseling. to figure out why you are equating the fact that something didn't work out, with anything else that's going on. Like with the actual reality of the situation, like you being able to do the job, etc., etc. So all that is things that aren't true as far as I can tell, and they're just going, running rampant in your mind and overthinking, of course. And guess what? When you are not working a lot, when you're not motivated, etc., etc., then that's when overthinking happens the most. Is when we're able to overcome fear and lack of motivation to put themselves out there again. You're not putting yourself out there. You're looking for a better situation. So you're staying where you are. So you're not out there, but you're looking to make a move up, just like you did previously. And if you did it previously, you can probably do it again. How did you find your purpose and joy for your career again? I don't know what to tell you. Guess what? You might not like that career. Tough crap. That's how you can probably make the most money, so you do it anyway. Again, to support your family. If that's not enough motivation for you, then you do need counseling. For sure. And not career counseling either. Because you are nutty. Current situation, my wife and I are currently in baby step 4, and that's great. Obviously better than 1, 2, or 3 for sure. But a baby on the way, so we paused everything. Perfect, doing it right. And I'm just putting money away for now. My wife makes $85K, and her salary will come down by 50% once she goes on maternity leave. Somehow this is still not motivating me enough, so maybe I need a kick in my butt. Haha. Yeah. Also, any advice would be advice. That's a C. Advice is the noun. Advise is the verb. So we would use advice in this case. But yeah, you just need a kick in your butt and tell you to stop being stupid. It's all stuff that's going on in your mind that isn't actually reality is the problem. And for some reason, supporting your family isn't a good enough reason for you. And again, I think it's just because it didn't work out exactly for you the way you wanted it to. And hey, welcome to life. That's how life can go sometimes. And so you need to man up, or if you're a woman, not a man, I think, but or if you're a female, you should woman up and learn to adapt to such adversity. And yeah, and why isn't supporting your family instant motivation for making more money? What is stopping that? Again, I think it's too focused on the fact that things did not work out exactly the way you wanted it to with your previous job before you got laid off. Baby step 3 flare here. Career change help. Well, baby step 3, not the best to do a career change. Not as bad as step 2, but still, you would be much better off after baby step 3. So steps 4, 5, and 6 would be better for doing something like this. And even a thing like where you, like maybe the previous person did not like digital advertising and doesn't want to do that anymore, but that's what brings in the bucks for that person. And maybe you don't want to do that, and so you want to do something else where you make less money. And so the higher up your baby step number is, the better the situation for you. Did I ever check my phone? I think my phone went off. Hold on. My phone must have heard me say I was thinking about getting Raisin Cane's because the Chick-fil-A app must have heard me and sent me an ad. Okay. Normally I wouldn't check it, but I am still awaiting repair of my air conditioner here. Hence the fan that fortunately you can't hear. Good afternoon, everyone. Military or budget planning advice needed. Okay. I am active duty Army with approximately 13 months left, and I'm planning on getting into line work. Don't know what that is. Like electric lines? Don't know. Unfortunately, my ETS date 16 August 2026. Okay, yep. Doesn't line up with the course start date to be within my last 6 months for skill bridge. Okay, well, can you start that before your separation date here? Can you start it beforehand? I'm looking for more schools semi-local to me that might have a course I can do with the skill bridge time frame, but if I can't, what's the best plan? Yeah, I don't know what the skill bridge time frame is, and if it's just something in your mind that you put together that you think has to happen. Like, for example, the last person thought that they would get into that one job and then they would keep moving up in that company or keep moving up in pay by changing companies, and that didn't happen, got laid off. And so that derailed everything. So if this is, this may be the actual case of how reality works in this particular field, the line work thing. But it also could be something that they are just making up or have in their head that, oh, well, this is how this has to go, and this is the only way it can go. And so, but what's the best plan? Well, first of all, if it's not reality and it's just something you built up in your mind, then get over that. If it's reality, you need to embrace that reality and do the best you can based on the reality. Let's see, the first would be the ETS and to utilize my GI Bill and savings to float the school and living costs for the family until I graduate and move for work. Downfall with that is burning the emergency funds before jumping into a career and moving. Yeah, that is not good. I would probably find a different way to do that. Second would be the shortest re-enlistment / extension to shove me into a future class date range, but I am burnt from the lifestyle that is the military. Hey man, do you wanna do this line work thing? Do you want it to be paid for with the GI Bill? Do you want all that to happen? Then how about you not be burnt out on it? Okay, and you're burnt from the lifestyle that is the military. Too bad. Sometimes you don't, again, get everything that you want. Any other options? I can't really say because I don't know about this particular thing. Again, maybe made up as far as what this time frame thing has to do is happening with it. Maybe be accurate. So I don't know, unfortunately. If anyone has wisdom, I graciously appreciate the follows added information. Okay, it did ask for budget help, and this is not career change help. This is specific to this exact thing. I wouldn't call it career change. 7-year sergeant. Thanks for your service, by the way, as well. A one income family with 11-month old stay-at-home mom. I feel like 11 months is too old to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm kidding. They just didn't do commas. Why are there O's like instead of dashes or periods or something like that? That's nutty. So, somebody that would do that also would make up something about a time frame that's not reality. You can probably learn line work sometime other than within a certain date of your ETS date, your separation date. But then there may be something with the GI Bill where it has to start within X months of that. That could very well be possible, and I just am not aware of it. Currently salary just 76,000. 6336 monthly. 22,000 in savings. No comma there either. For emergency expenses, we'll keep saving until ETS. Retirement funds are not an option to touch, right? They shouldn't be anyway. Debt is not an option of, right? So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. Let's just take a look at the spend the money you've earned it. No. Have you contacted SkillBridge to discuss this? Some mentors that have gone through the process as well. Yeah, somebody in the Army right there where you are might know. Ask a senior officer who you should talk to if you do not know who. That's a good idea. I haven't gotten with SkillBridge direct, just the TAP representatives. Okay, that's a lot of, TPS report stuff. I've been hunting far and wide, I guess, for advice on everything. I got a great idea. How about you get with SkillBridge direct? And also ask your senior officers who you can talk to about it and get advice on it. And maybe some of the senior officers can help you as well. Alrighty, new efficiency 6342 personal student loan forgiveness. Hi guys, looking for reassurance. I'm not an idiot. Had $280,000 in student loan debt when starting work. We'll be left with 78 at the end of July. I did have some employer-based repayment to help. Great, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, as long as it gets paid back. It needs to be paid back ASAP. I have barely any savings, and you shouldn't have any. You should have $1,000 in your starter emergency fund while you have step 2 debt, which is the student loan. Know many people who have successfully received PSLF. That doesn't mean that you will. The advice is to pay the loan off. Coworkers are all waiting on PSLF. Look at me like I'm an idiot when they find out I'm paying them down. Need reassurance. Yeah, you're doing it the right way. Okay, if most people are looking at you weird, then you're probably doing the correct financial thing. They are the normal ones. You are not normal. But that's great. We want to be abnormal in this group here. Most pause 3164 inherited a house. What would you do? Hi there. Please no mean or judgy comments. Oh, come on. Where's the fun in that? Also, it's Reddit. You asking for no mean or judgy comments, it's just gonna bring on more. Saddam. What is this? Most pause 3164. Mostly. Just want to know, what would you do if this were you? I would probably follow the Ramsey advice, first of all. Here's the facts. Father passed away and left my 2 brothers and I his paid for home, which we all grew up in. Good memories, lots of love here. Sell it. Home value is $900,000 and located in suburb just north of Seattle. 1970s 3-bedroom Rambler. I never heard of Rambler as being a house style. Interesting. Needs updating for what? I got a great idea. If you have to, you sell it for less and you let whoever buys it update it. But has good bones, nice yard. A median home price in this area is $1.1 million. I'm currently living in the home with my spouse and teenage son. Have been for 3 years. All right. See, the problem is you didn't inherit it. The brothers, including you, inherited it. That's the problem. We are taking care of the home, paying taxes, insurance, and a small amount of rent to my brothers, $1,500 per month. Okay. And, you know, whatever you guys have worked out is fine, but when you start talking money and family or friends, that normally doesn't go well. Somebody gets buttered or something like that. Like, well, you get to live there, and you're doing, you know, blah, 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 and all that. Our net take-home pay is on average about $6,200 a month. We are in our late 40s, early 50s, okay. So I guess one is one and the other is the other. And how old of a teenage son? Okay. All right. Okay. I was about to judge on that. No. And we do not own any other homes. Okay. We have baby step 1, the 1K emergency savings, and that's where you start. Even if you inherited a house, even if any situation you can think of, you always do the baby steps in order if you're going to take the Ramsey advice at all. 5K and a 401K, don't judge please, it is what it is, and believe me, I feel shame. Well, I mean, that happens. That happens. Done with money most of your life. That does happen. We are on baby step 2 and have $8,000 in personal debt currently. At one point had over 40K in debt, but have been paying it down. Great. My brothers don't want to buy the home. Okay, and want out. Oh, they want you to buy them out. Yeah. And do not want to be the landlords. Yep. Have a good relationship with my brothers. Say goodbye to that. And I respect their wishes. We want stay in the school district for our son who graduates high school in 2028. Guess what? Might not be able to do that. And that's too bad. That is such a shame. But you don't let that make you get a mortgage, for example. After 2028, we want to move away from this area to somewhere more affordable. No, you go ahead and do that now. Now is a perfect time. You sell the house and split the money, and you can use your portion of the proceeds to get the other house. I'm sorry for your son, but it's too much money involved. And there is a price. There is a price on, well, this way he gets to graduate with his friends and blah 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 blah. Who he won't talk to anymore after high school. Let's see. Rent in this school district is around $3K per month for a small house. Yeah, and guess what? You didn't need to be in that school district then, and before, and you don't need to be in it now. Our credit is fair. We don't care about credit. You don't need credit because you're not going to get a loan. We can qualify for a loan. with a high interest rate, yeah, and could buy my brothers out of their part. But we would need to get help from another family member for down payment. That's a no, 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 no. Also, we don't buy houses. Guess what? We don't buy houses in step 2. So you're not in a position to do that yet. So you cannot do that. That would be a no per the Ramsey advice. As this would be considered a first mortgage. Yeah, mortgage would likely be $3,000 per month, about half or take-home pay, and that's a no from Ramsey World as well. So, given moving out of the school district is not an option for us right now, bull crap if it's not an option, you just don't want to do it. So, would you buy your brothers out and scrape together the mortgage payment for 3 years? No. Till kid graduate? No. You don't, it's not, oh, whatever I want to do for the kid at all costs. No, there's a cost. There's a cost limit where you got to draw the line and say no, and this is it. Or would you sell the home now? Yes, wipe out the rest of the debt, invest the $300K, my portion, rent till 2028, and then move somewhere else. Yeah, you can do that instead. Although the rent's not going to be cheap either. The rent's going to be too much either. But thanks in advance. Sleepless in Seattle, and that was a fabulous movie. And fabulous might be overdoing it there. It was pretty good. So, but yeah, there's got to be a line somewhere. It's not like everything that's not 100%. So the child, if it has to go to another school district, the teenager will continue to live. Okay? So, like, I mean, eventually, if you stop feeding the teenager, that would bring some problems. And so you do want to keep feeding the teenager so that you can spend money on spending extra money and doing dumb stuff, buying a house when you are not on the step to buy a house. All that's a no, and that's where you draw the line and say, sorry kid, love you, can't do it. Impergs 38, seeking advice navigating student loan debt before graduation. Hi everyone. And I mean, they make it sound so navigating student loan debt. So this is paying off debt. Paying off student loans is what it should be. The little navigating stuff, that just rubs me the wrong way. Currently a mechanical engineering student, athlete. Yeah, that rubs me the wrong way too. No, I'm kidding. Entering my final year of college, and I'm facing over $200,000 in government student loan debt when I graduate next year. Well, that's pretty dumb of you, sir or madam. And hopefully you will graduate, and that degree will allow you to get a job that allows you to pay that back extremely quickly. I know this is a huge number, and I'm trying to be as proactive and intentional as possible about my financial future. Here's a quick rundown of my situation. And it's bullet pointed, which I do appreciate. So get a little bit of points back on that one. I've completed 3 engineering internships so far and hoping to land a solid job after graduation. Yeah, that's the hope. See, the problem is it's not guaranteed, which makes the loan a bad idea. The loan's a bad idea. Hopefully in aerospace or mechanical design, and that's probably where the money is. So again, hopefully. Been investing for a couple years and have a small portfolio built up. That would be a no. Sell it immediately and put that on your student loan debt, or use it to pay for the next year. If he'll have a payment coming up, there's no need to pay extra on a student loan and then take more student loan out. So yeah, you would be doing that instead of this dumb bull crap here. Investing while you have $200,000 of debt. So normal, but so dumb, so financial broy, so, so mechanical engineering student. I've also taken on side jobs. That's great for extra cash. Things like private trainings, that's fine. Do more of that. I want to follow the baby steps and avoid dragging this debt around for decades. Well, that means you don't do this dumb ass investing stuff. That's step 4. You're on step 2. And I would hope a mechanical engineering student can tell that 2 is lower than 4. Not looking for a magic fix. It sounds like you are. But I have one for you. Quit your dumbass investing and you put all of that money to the college. Assuming that's not in a retirement account, assuming it's just in a brokerage account. I love to hear from people who tackled large student loans. I haven't, but the advice is the same for paying off a $5 loan and the $200,000 loan. The advice is exactly the freaking same. You don't have a small portfolio built up. You do not invest for a couple of years. You don't do any of that dumb ass crap. Or helped others do so. Should I pause investing? Not only pause it, you cash everything out and throw that at the debt. You're not letting that stay in there growing either. No, you do that as well. Should you try to refinance? No. Or like consolidate or anything like that? No, just pay them off. What are the most aggressive yet realistic ways to pay that off quickly, especially during my early career? That you do not have a small portfolio built up. That's dumb as crap. That you work more and you spend less, and until that 200,000 is gone, guess what? You are living on rice and beans still. You're living like a broke college student still, even though you may not be making broke college student money. You may be making a lot of money, but guess what? It's all going to the student loan. Any advice to real world examples would mean a lot. Well, this is not people always think their little situation is special or different. It's not. You would be paying, if this was a car instead of the student loan, it would be the same advice for somebody. You would not have a small portfolio built up while you had step 2 debt. That would be a NAR. I'm ready to work hard. I just want to be smart about how I do it. Thanks in advance. And when the person says small portfolio, maybe there's only $1,000 in there, but still, it's the principle of the thing. You're trying to do skimming and scamming and trying to spread the money out and stuff like that. You're trying to financial bro, basically, is what you're doing. Do not do that. You whip that out of there, close that account, and you put all that, whatever there is in there, you put all that to the, how much your emergency fund should be. The only savings and investing you should have should be the $1,000 emergency fund, because you are on step 2, and that is something that you chose to do. So you don't get a break on that. So you're doing it wrong. Let's just check. Never know. Dave might change it, he hasn't changed it probably for, 20 plus years or something like that, but he might change it sometime. No, hey, look at that. Step 2 is still pay off all non-mortgage debt, and step 4 is investing. So you are not in the investing step now. So you're doing it wrong. Uncle Clark, okay? To pay or not to pay, that is the question. Well, if you owe it, you should pay it. See what the dealio is. We'll do this one. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this. Pay or not to pay, that's the question. Okay, here is the dealio. 46 years old, married, 2 kids. Purchased my home in 2017 for $300,000. I have a 15-year mortgage at 3.25%. Okay, current value is around $600,000, doubling it. When you buy that, 2017 is 2025. That's 8 years, doubled. I put 60,000 down and have been rapidly paying down the mortgage. I currently owe $97,000. That's great, unless you have non-mortgage debt, and that would mean you're doing it wrong. I have just about that much in liquid cash. I'm self-employed. My annual income fluctuates greatly, ranging from $75,000 to $200,000 annually. My wife makes about 125 grand a year. I have no other retirement savings, dude, aside from 300,000 in my business accounts, and about $3 million in equity and investment properties that generate 30,000 gross rents a month. $3 million in property, and you are making 30,000 a month. You could invest that money and make more than 30,000 gross rents a month. So that means even less than that. So that's dumb as crap, sir. Should I pay off my mortgage? Yes. So you should not have any mortgage as you have I mean, these investment properties, if you have mortgages on those, that's a no as well. But especially if you don't have a mortgage of those and you have a mortgage on your residence, that's a debt leverage. That's debt leverage thing, and that's a no from Mr. Ramsey. Should I pay off my mortgage? You have 300,000 in the business accounts, and again, you have the equity. Right. See, this is why you don't want to do this dumb crap and do too much investing. And you know what? Again, what really helps in retirement is, I mean, see, you're doing all your business stuff. You're doing your business accounts and then plus investment properties, and you did that instead of investing, which it sounds like, I mean, 3 million is great. Sell them and invest the 3 million and you'll make more than, oh no, oh, that's 30,000 gross rents a month. That's still not a lot though. I was thinking a year. My bad. That's my bad. So about the same, you could make about the same in putting it in the market, and then you don't have to worry about investment properties, and you don't have to worry about anything taking away from the gross of that. Obviously except for the taxes on the gains. I really would like to buy a second vacation home. No. If I should use the cash as down payment, no. You have to buy second homes fully in cash. Or just dump the cash and zero out my primary home mortgage. You get that house paid off first, sell your freaking equity properties and buy your second home. That's fine if you do that and pay cash. That's fine. Quit trying to do everything all at the same time. People always want to do everything all at the same time. We think we have to get a mortgage, but somehow have $3 million of equity in investment properties. That, I mean, this might be some kind of nutty thing where he's part owner of that, and that's dumb too. That would not be advised. And so it would be better for you to get your $3 million out of that and apply that to paying off your residence. And you can also buy the second house with that. And then you don't have to do any mortgages. And then you would be fine with the Ramsey advice. So, but no, people don't want to do that, even if they're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. Alrighty, and there will be an after show tomorrow morning as well. And what we will be talking about here, things snowball my current mortgage. If you can pay it off in 2 years, yeah, Dave's fine with doing that. On the verge of baby step 7. Preview that one yesterday. They do change spots sometimes from day to day. But yeah, we'll see what that's all about. Consolidation, really the best move after listening to Dave Ramsey. Well, Dave Ramsey doesn't say to do that. The only time he would have you do that if it's defaulted private student loans with a company called Refi. But you didn't listen to Dave Ramsey if you're thinking about a consolidation loan. So we'll read and see what all the little specifics that don't change the advice are in that. Wonder Whips, want to purchase Dream Car but can't bring myself to pull the trigger. Just depends on what baby step you're on and a couple other factors. Question about the 15%. It's 15%. And that's you putting in 15. The match you get does not go towards the 15. And you do not do more than 15 while you have a house payment still. And so some of that I'm certain will answer this exact question. After marriage, my baby steps are all over the place. Well, then that is very simple because that means you're doing it wrong if they're all over the place. They stay in the same place that they always are, and this is them, and your little situation in life doesn't change the order. You getting married doesn't change the order. Now, you getting married and combining finances with somebody, now that may lead to things that you agree on, that you can compromise on, that do not follow the baby steps, but then you're doing your own thing. You're not doing the baby steps. And so you can't run into the baby steps and say, oh, well, this is how it is, but I'm doing it, and but I'm doing it. No, just do your own thing at that point. Alrighty. Let's say now, after show tomorrow, what is it? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday, July 3rd. And Friday, July 4th as well. Ramsey show, almost certainly a replay or best of or something. Oh, actually, you know what? They might do... I don't know what they'll do about that. Because I don't know if they would do a replay on July 4th and save the Thursday show for next Monday morning. I don't know. I'll see what they do and I'll report back to see how they handle that. I'm trying to think what they did on the last holiday. All right, once more, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you, yes, you having money problems or you just want to make sure that you're doing it right, that's not the right thing to stop. I wanted to stop the ticker. There we go. All right. If you want to make sure you're on the right track or you got money problems, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me by emailing me. Schedule changes too much to use the website that I was using. Have they updated too much? So just email me and we will work it out. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can also use that email address for anything on my website or financial questions or financial coaching questions, anything you want to talk about. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. It's down here. CashApp, you think I would remember that? CashApp is $ Coach Steve Money or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, as I said, the Ramsey Show after show 11:07 or maybe a little bit earlier if the Ramsey Show ends a little bit earlier. I think it ended at 11:05 today. That'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, July 2nd. That's today. 3rd and 4th. That's the next 2 days. And the Answering Your Financial Questions stream, 8 p.m. Sunday. And so that must mean I'm working Saturday night at 8 o'clock, so I can't do it Saturday night. Alrighty, and yes, baby steps 1, 2, and 3 in order, one at a time. No doing higher steps. Don't even think about higher steps early, like investing and doing a small portfolio. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6 in order, all three at the same time, but still in that priority order for primarily, and then 5, and then anything that's left over after that, 6. Alrighty. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.